Hey folks, and welcome to the R&D Diesel channel. Today we're covering a topic that's a little bit of an interesting one, and that is, why in the world do you never see old body style Ford trucks with over 400,000 miles? I mean, really, think about it. Have you ever seen an OBS Ford with over 400,000 miles? Stay tuned. So my truck just recently rolled over 390,000 miles, and we're starting to approach that 400,000 mile mark. And that really got me kind of thinking and a little bit concerned because, I've never seen an old body style Ford truck with that many miles, with over 400,000 miles. You'll see them with, like 385, 370, you'll see them well over 300,000 miles, but never over 400,000 miles. So why is that? Now, there are some users on YouTube who have posted videos of their old body style Ford trucks rolling over 399,999.9 miles and then having it reset all the way back to 300,000 miles. And so basically what ends up happening, long story short, it's not that these trucks don't last over 400,000 miles. It's just that they kind of get stuck in this infinite loop going between 300,000 miles and 399,000 miles and back and forth. And so really a truck that might have, 700,000 miles, anything over 400,000 miles on it, will still only show 300-something thousand miles on the odometer. But frankly, I'm kind of proud of how many miles my truck has. I think it's a testament as to how well I can take care of this vehicle. And because of that, I wanted to see if I could make this thing actually read over 400,000 miles. So the real question begins, can we modify the odometer so that it actually does read more miles than it has? In fact, why in the world does it not read that many miles to begin with? Now, if you pay close enough attention, you'll take a look here and see this suspicious 3 here on the farthest left-hand side of the odometer readout. Now, one thing that's rather peculiar is that the only reason that this thing cannot read over 400,000 miles or anything over a 3 in this furthest most left digit actually is because it's just missing one bit up here in the top left-hand corner. If you look at it, you can see that the 1 uses 2 of these bits. Now bear in mind that each one of these numbers is represented by what's called a 7-segment display, where effectively there's 7 of these little bars that you see here in an 8, for example, that by varying which bits are black or not, you can basically make whatever number you want. So whenever this truck's brand new, then this furthest left digit really just doesn't show at all because it has under 100,000 miles. And of course, whenever you roll over 100,000 miles, then you'll get a 1. You'll turn on those 2 right-hand bits. Then for 200,000 miles, you will get these upper 2, and then you'll turn on the bottom ones, and then you'll make a 2, of course. And at 300,000 miles, you turn on all of the right ones, and of course these middle 3 as well. But the one bit that is not used to make a 0, a 1, 2, or 3 is this top left bit. But if you look at it closely, we actually need that top left bit to make pretty much all the numbers over a 3. So the question is pending, does that bit actually exist? So in order to find out, what I did was I went to a junkyard and I actually got an old odometer set up from an old body style Ford truck so I could do some prodding around and investigate that bit in the top left hand corner actually exists and whether we can turn it on so that we can make this thing read over 400,000 miles. I figured what I would do is actually trace all these little bits that go to the LCD screen on the odometer and see if we could actually figure out if that bit actually exists. And what I did was I traced all of these. There's this little ribbon cable here that connects between this control board and the actual LCD display. And I found out what you can do is I've got 3.3 volt power right here hooked up. This is the ground right here, or the negative, and then I have the positive side right over here. So I found out that this pin right here is the ground, and then what you can see is when I apply power to each individual terminal here, then we can access a different bit of our LCD display. And so by varying which ones we have on or off, we can display certain numbers and whatnot. Of course, this is all controlled by some little microchip that is programmed to do just this task. Now, in particular, I want you to focus your attention here on the furthest left bit. Now, this is the one that we're trying to figure out whether it exists or not. This is the one that should show a 4 in the event that we roll over 400,000 miles. So one thing you'll see is we have a bit right there. Okay, so that we would use for the 2. And then this one right here we might use for a 1 and a 3. But But past that, that's the only 2 bits that actually go to this little number. Now then whenever we go to another pin, what we can do is we actually reverse the ground. So it's kind of weird. There are 50 little segments in this display, and we can access them by these 27 pins. Now 2 of these are actually ground, and we need a ground and a power in order to complete the circuit and engage one of these little bits. So ground 1 is here, and then ground 2 is right here, and that allows us to access all of the bits. Now if we focus our attention at this furthest left bit that would show anything above 300,000 miles, I want you to see what we observe. So we have a bit there, 2 bits right there. You're seeing a little ghosting there because I'm actually bumping against another one of the pins. So that's off of 1 ground. Let's go look at the 2nd ground. Oh, and this is kind of weird. I don't know if you can see this or not, but there are 3 lines actually active right now, just like you would see in either a 2 or in a 3. And then we have another one. So ultimately what this boils down to, now I've got all the pins here laid out for the ribbon cable. I have a ground 2 and a ground 1. So it gives us the 2 different grounds, and that's what allows us to turn 27 individual pins basically into 54. It's actually more like 48, but whatever. You get the idea. And so I found out that whenever I connect between the normal ground here, this ground 1, and pin number 25, then we light up these 3 bars right here that we would use for a 2 or for a 3. And then whenever I engage the 24 on, again, the normal ground, that gives us this pin, and then whenever I use the secondary ground, 25 prime and 24 prime gives us these other 2 digits right here. But you'll see that there is no provision for that last digit that we would need for the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, anything above 3. You get the idea. And so what I've come to the conclusion of is that this digit, this bit, simply doesn't exist within the protocol that we have on our control board. So I don't know for sure whether it's the LCD screen itself or if it's a consequence of the control board. In fact, maybe it's probably a combination of both. The bit might actually not be there. Now I think this boils down to the fact that there might not have been enough processing space, might not have been enough pins inside of the control, that little microchip they use to control all this. And so the decision and the design was to either eliminate, say, the 10th place, or to just go ahead and make it not go over 400,000 miles. Now bear in mind that at the time of the introduction of this, odometers rolled over every 100,000 miles. So being able to go up to 399,999.9 is actually pretty darn good. Now, at the end of the day, all we can really do is suppose why in the world Ford engineers decided to make the move they did on the odometers. Now, some folks might argue it was some pity pinchers at Ford, or maybe some swell sales guy made a really cool pitch to the engineers, and they thought that having a digital display was the coolest thing ever. I don't know what the heck the whole story is, but maybe you do, and I'd be happy to hear about it, so leave your comments below in the comment box. In the meantime, folks, I appreciate you watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And hope it gives you a little more insight and can help calm your fears that your truck isn't about to die at 400,000 miles. Take care. Forgot my wallet. See you next time.